in some of the most shocking news that I think you're going to hear probably this year, and in what's going to be probably the most anticipated criminal trial that I can remember. Alec Baldwin has been charged, or will be charged, with involuntary manslaughter for the shooting and death that occurred on the filming of his movie Rust. I believe it was last year. Um, I'm honestly at a loss for words. I don't know really what to say at this point. This is nothing that I ever thought was coming. I certainly thought there would be civil lawsuits. I certainly thought that there would be negligence that would apply to Alec Baldwin. I never thought that there would be criminal charges, let alone involuntary manslaughter charges that'll be brought against Alec Baldwin. And it is going to be a gigantic story, huge. It's going to be honestly the biggest criminal case probably since Casey Anthony, O.J. Simpson. It's going to be huge. A lot of people may be asking, well, what is involuntary manslaughter? How does it apply in the case involving Alec Baldwin? I'm an attorney in Florida. This shooting occurred in Arizona, I believe, and the statutes and the laws are different from state to state, but they share some similarities. But at least according to the manslaughter statute in Arizona, a person commits manslaughter by doing any of the following acts. Number one, recklessly causing the death of another person. That would most likely apply in this case. Number two, committing second-degree murder on a sudden quarrel or heat of passion resulting in adequate provocation by the victim. Now, that doesn't really apply in this case. Intentionally providing the physical means that another person uses to die by suicide. No. Knowingly or recklessly causing the death of an unborn child. No. So we can see here that the state of Arizona is really going to apply that first element, recklessly causing the death of another person. And for what many people know is that Alec Baldwin was the director of this film Rust. It was a Western where there were firearms to be used on the set, and those firearms are supposed to be loaded with blanks. There's an armorer on the set who has to check those firearms before and after every scene to make sure that those are actually blanks that are in the firearm rather than live rounds. In this case, the armorer announced that it was a cold gun, meaning that there were not live rounds in the firearm. The firearm was used in the scene. It shot another individual. That individual died. As a result of that, Alec Baldwin in this case is going to be held responsible and going to be charged with involuntary manslaughter because as a director, he has the ultimate say and the ultimate, the final decision on what happens. He's ultimately responsible for everyone's actions on that set. And certainly, at least by the definition of the Arizona statute, a person commits manslaughter by doing the following. Number one, recklessly causing the death of another person. Recklessly is defined as wanton and willful disregard for the safety and well-being of another person. That's going to be the key sticking point in this case, is the wanton and reckless disregard, wanton and willful disregard for the safety of another person. Alec Baldwin, his defense attorneys are certainly going to attack this issue, and it's going to be a contentious fight, to say the least. Not only was Alec Baldwin charged, but the armorer whose duty it was to actually check the gun and declare the gun as safe is also going to be charged. But one of the more interesting aspects is that the assistant director, David Halls, actually signed a plea agreement to the charge of negligent use of a deadly weapon earlier this year. So what that means is the assistant director, the AD on the film, is most likely going to cooperate and most likely testify against Alec Baldwin and the other individuals going to be charged in this case. I doubt that Alec Baldwin had the opportunity to enter a plea beforehand. Even if he did, even if he was given that option, I don't think that he would have accepted it, because that's obviously going to have huge ramifications on his career, on his profession. But it's very interesting that the assistant director in this film was offered a plea deal and accepted it, because when that happens early on in the case before charges are even filed, what that really suggests is that that person is going to cooperate against the other individuals that are being charged. So, like I said, this is a huge story. This is going to be probably the biggest criminal case of the decade. I don't relish in these moments, and I certainly not excited for this news, but this is really a perfect example that allows people to kind of see the process of how the legal system unfolds in the United States. That's the purpose that I've started this channel, is to give people a better sense of the laws of the United States and how the court system works. So if you found any of this information helpful or useful, please like, comment, and subscribe, because I'm going to be here the whole time, analyzing really every bit of this case.